What's your biggest fear in corners? Losing grip, right? We're all terrified of the front tire sliding out. But what if I told you that the most common cornering advice you've heard, never brake in a corner or do all your braking before the corner, actually increases the chances of that happening? Hi, my name is Dave. I've been a professional motorcycle instructor for 25 years. I've taught state, basic, and experienced rider courses for over a decade, and I'm currently a champion certified coach with Yamaha Champ School. Today, we'll cover a technique that gives you more control, precision, and safety in corners. And at the end, I'll even give you a few parking lot drills to make this all click. Let's talk about doing all of your braking early and getting off the brakes before leaning. This can work if you can see the whole corner and know that it's clear. But what do you do when you don't have all the information? Relying on a strategy that requires commitment before you know what's ahead is hoping for the best. Hope that you've guessed right. Hope you've slowed down enough. Hope that the corner is clear. But hope is not a strategy. We never intentionally lean into a corner with an underloaded front tire and just hope that it grips. But that's exactly what happens when we fully release the brakes before tip-in. Instead, slow until you're happy with your speed and direction. Our goals are: get the bike pointed out of the corner. Wait until you see the exit and start taking away lean angle. Wait until you have direction before you accelerate. Now, some say you should brake all the way to the apex, the point where the bike is closest to the inside of the bend. But an apex is just a reference. It's a report card, as Champ School would say. But often, the textbook correct place to be off the brakes is rarely at the apex. Sometimes it's before the apex and sometimes it's after. And besides, on the street, you may not know where the apex is. So instead, we need a strategy that lets us adapt before tip-in, during corner entry, and mid-corner so that we can get the bike pointed before accelerating. Here's a sobering fact. The number one cause of front tire slides isn't what you think. It's not overloading the front or hitting debris. It's an underloaded front tire. Many riders grab the brakes hard before a corner, then release it all at once. That loads and then unloads the front tire. The same thing happens when you go back to the gas. Weight shifts to the back tire away from the front. Now, to avoid this, we need to be mindful of the first and last 5% of how we apply and release the front brake, and then think hard about how you're going to the throttle. Now, we're talking about the front brake. We treat the rear brake differently, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. But if this line is brake pressure, and this line is time or distance, we want to be gentle for the first 5%. We need to give it a second for the weight of the bike to shift onto the front tire. And then we can build pressure very deliberately if we need to. Then we get all of this control because from here, we can add or subtract small amounts of brake pressure depending on what we need, slowly trailing off brake pressure until we're happy with our speed and direction. But then, instead of just being done braking, we slowly finish the braking as gently as it began. Now, this whole process stabilizes the chassis, it loads the front tire, and allows you to control your line with precision. But it's the last 5% that often gets forgotten. If we are slowing into corners, the last thing we want to do is just throw away or just let go of the front brake. When we abruptly let go mid-corner, the front tire abruptly unloads. The leading cause of front tire slides is caused by an underloaded front tire. Okay, so check this out. This is the Stealth wallet from Groove Life. Now, I've tried a bunch of minimalist wallets, but this one is different. I mean, seriously, how good does this look? The panel is customizable. I went with this sick brushed metal, and man, the beveling. I mean, come on, how cool is that, right? This minimalist design will hold up to 14 cards and still manages to hide cash in this secret compartment. Accessing the cards is simple. Press up from the bottom and fan them out to find the one you need. But here's another well thought out design feature. The bottom of the panels have a bevel. You pinch the bottom like this so you can put the card back into place without a struggle. It comes in this great looking box with stealthy contour lines. Open the metal box and there it is. I mean, what a perfect gift for your old man, right? It says here it has a 94-year unlimited warranty. That's oddly specific, but I'm into it. Check out the link and grab the Groove Stealth Wallet. It's the last wallet you or your dad will ever need. Now, some dismiss this as a racetrack technique, but it works at all speeds. The goal isn't max speed. The goal is control and grip. In simple terms, go slower into and through the corner to get the bike pointed out sooner. The entrance and mid-corner aren't as important as a good exit. So let me give you a real-world example that could save your life. This is East Canyon, and coming back down into Salt Lake City, this stretch has a series of steep, blind, downhill switchbacks. They're cut into the mountain, so you can't see all the way through them. And they are the definition of blind corners. And to add to the fun, there's a lake nearby. That means that there's always a chance of a boat trailer swinging fully into your lane. So here's the question. What's the perfect entrance speed that keeps me completely off the brakes before I tip into this corner that still guarantees I can make it to the exit safely? There isn't one. That's the trap. But here's the fix. By keeping pressure past tip in and holding that pressure until I'm happy with my speed and direction and waiting until I can see the exit, I gain more control, more grip, and most importantly, more options if things go sideways. And here's the other thing. This isn't a technique I use for when things go wrong. And this isn't just theory. This is what I do every single time I ride. Not just this road, but every corner I can't see all the way through. Because in real world corners, hoping we make it isn't good enough. All right, so let me make this even simpler. Think about how you drive your car when you're pulling into the driveway or a tight parking spot or taking a sharp residential turn. Do you jam on the brakes, jump off the brakes, crank the steering wheel and go back to the gas hoping you make it? No way. You stay on the brake pedal while turning, trailing off pressure smoothly until your car's pointed where you want it to go. That's exactly what we want to do on a motorcycle. Trail braking is not about speed or showing off. It's about staying in control and being adaptable. Use the brakes until you're happy with your speed and direction. Every motorcycle made in the last 50 years was engineered to be ridden this way. Trail braking is how your front tire was designed to work, progressively loaded, never suddenly unloaded. That's why this is a life-saving skill. It gives you mid-corner line correction. It keeps the suspension compressed and stable. It increases front tire grip. It buys you time to react mid-corner. And it puts your slowest speed at the riskiest point. So now how do we practice this skill in kind of a safer environment? Remember our brake pressure graph? Our goal is to honor the first and last 5%. What happens in between is where we adjust for all the ride variables. So start off in a straight line, get up to speed, maybe upshift into second gear, and then smoothly apply the first 5%. Then build pressure, and then trail off and smoothly release the last 5%. You'll know if you got it right if the forks don't spring back up. Master this graph. The first 5% loads the tire, the last 5% prevents abrupt unloading. Next, add in a corner. It doesn't have to be sharp, just a moderate bend, and use the same brake pressure curve. Build pressure before the bend, and then trail off as you lean in, and try to stop smoothly in the corner without the fork rebounding. Focus on smoothness, not speed. You're learning the feel. And then take it to a favorite mellow road. It might feel weird, but after a few bends, everything will feel better. You'll feel more control, more grip. And if you're struggling, try keeping the front brake pressure for 10 feet longer than you think you need to. And if you're struggling with overslowing, that's an indication that you're not looking far enough ahead. Listen, this is about decisions based on your situation, your current level of grip, the amount of traffic, how old your tires are, how tired are you. You're not required to brake until the apex. You're not required to be off the brakes before corner entry. The golden rule, when you're nervous, go to the front brake. Don't wait until you're scared or on the verge of panic. Go to the brakes earlier with less pressure and carry them for longer. Use the brakes until you're happy with your speed and direction. that's it. You're not trying to go fast, you're trying to be in control. Hope is not a good strategy. Use techniques that give you options for the unexpected. But what about the rear brake? I mean, that's another topic entirely. Most riders don't use it correctly. So check out this video next to learn how to master it, and more importantly, how to integrate it correctly into your riding. Thank you so much for watching. Special thanks to our channel members for helping us keep this content out from behind a paywall. And yeah, I'll see you over there. Ride on and ride well.